Good evening. A storm-tossed freighter the size of 2 football fields smashed into the Sunshine Skyway Bridge over Florida's Tampa Bay today. A passenger bus and private vehicles went crashing into the waters 140 feet below. At least 31 persons were killed, and the Coast Guard said the toll could go higher, much higher.
The Sunshine Skyway stretches across Tampa Bay between St. Petersburg and Bradenton. During this morning's rush hour, with a thunderstorm swirling over the bay and almost no visibility, a huge freighter rammed into the bridge and a long section of the roadway fell into the water. A few moments later, a Greyhound bus, 3 cars, and a truck plunged through the gap. At least 31 persons were killed. Here's a report from David Garcia.
Morning rush hour traffic. The Sunshine Skyway, the major traffic artery across Tampa Bay, suddenly no bridge. For the third time in 4 months, a ship rammed the bridge. This time, the 600-foot freighter Summit Venture. A 1,000-foot section of the bridge roadway collapsed. With it, a bus, a pickup truck, and several cars. Richard Hornbuckle managed to stop his car just in time.
Well, it was raining, it was dark, the wind was blowing about 80 miles an hour. I was driving at about 20-25 miles an hour with my flashers on. Because of the extreme weather. Greyhound bus, I believe it was, a bus of some type passed me on my left, and I swung into the left-hand lane following him. He was about 150 to 200 yards in front of me, and as we got to the top of the span, of course he had already gone over the high part of the span, and as I got up there I saw the bridge was completely out just in a flash, and thank God we were driving slow, and I applied the brakes, and the bridge had broken down at an angle, about a 45-degree angle, and we skidded to a stop within 2 feet of going off.
The weather couldn't have been worse. Hurricane-force winds, heavy rain, visibility described as 0. The ship reportedly several hundred yards out of the main channel. Off and on throughout the day, squalls whipped across Tampa Bay, making rescue operations next to impossible, even though divers could stand on portions of the bridge for a moment's rest. But among the death and destruction this day, a survivor. Wesley McIntyre's truck fell with the rest. It hit the deck of the ship and bounced into the water. McIntyre was rescued by the ship's crew and is hospitalized in fair condition. He talked with ABC's Bob Serkin.
As I got on top of the bridge, all of a sudden the bridge started to shake and move, and then it dropped down, and there was a ship, and I went off the end into the ship.
What did it feel like as you were falling?
There's nothing, because the last I remembered it was just going off the bridge, and then next thing I knew I was in the water. I was full of salt water and everything. I managed to get that out, and then I started to holler, and the man on the ship was on the top of the ship seeing me, and they dropped the rope ladder over the side.
You're a very lucky man.
I guess so, it seemed that way.